Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
And welcome. Good afternoon.
Wow. That was full of energy.
I know. I'm really feeling good about today's shows today.
That's good.
If you've just turned in for the first time, this is the Ask the Expert radio show where we do legal, financial, home improvement, which we've got today. Health. This is all kinds of educational information. My name is Steve-O, and I'm right here with the most beautiful woman in the world.
Well, thank you for that.
I wasn't going to say you.
Were you going to say Freddie? Mike.
My co-host, Renee.
What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm doing
my New York. How you doing?
How you doing?
We have the greatest experts on our show, and today we are going to talk about a very serious subject.
Especially here in South Florida, yes.
Especially here in South Florida. We are going to talk about mold removal. I mean, who knows when you have mold, right? So we got
the expert that's here knows.
From U.S. Mold. Now a friend of mine, because we've had lunch together and we've talked at each other and with each other.
No, he's a cool guy.
This guy knows the mold removal business. In fact, while we had lunch, he must have gotten 50 phone calls while we had lunch. So
I thought you were going to tell me he's removing mold from the restaurant.
He was.
He never stops working.
It might be with the restaurant we went to. I'll have to tell him about that later. But let's welcome the owner, the president, the head kahuna, Mike Fidel.
From U.S. Mold.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me here today.
Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Bro, you are the man. I mean,
yes.
This is... Listen, you know what? When you go to the Yellow Pages, you are really taking your life in your own hands. Especially when
it's not by a recommendation.
Yes, especially when you think you might have mold. And if you have kids, then you really want to find out. And we got the best.
Yes, we do. So if you have a question for Mike Fidel, call us at the station at 888-565-1470. And Mike, let me start out by saying I was a homeowner, and I know that there's a lot of problems caused by mold and illnesses. So let's talk about that. So tell people why mold is so dangerous.
It's just a matter of what you keep your home set at as far as the secret to controlling a good indoor air quality is that's what we're talking about, is keeping your home dry. And keeping your home dry is keeping your relative humidity at 40-50%. And that's the secret.
So how do you do that in the rainy season, like hurricane season?
You keep your AC set 75 year-round and just leave it. You know, a lot of people depend on those humidistats.
Yes.
And they're supposed to kick in when the relative humidity gets too high. Well, 90% of the jobs that we do in some of these condos is from the home's faulty dehumidistats. So we recommend everybody get rid of them, throw them out.
They don't
just
work.
Bite the bullet and pay your AC bills. Leave it at 75 year-round.
Wow.
Well, 75 is not setting it low.
It's not. You know, the EPA and some of the other environmental agencies will tell you to put it at 77 or 78. That's too high for Florida.
It's too hot.
It's too hot.
Yes.
You know, and the humidity down here is just brutal. So, but what was your question?
About mold being dangerous.
Well, it's a matter of people's health. Depending on if you have immune-compromised health, HIVs, diabetes, depending on your health is depending on how mold will affect you. Not everybody's affected the same way by mold.
Right. Now, me moving from New York to Florida, all of a sudden I got asthma. So I know that mold can definitely affect asthma as well.
Yeah, but I'm not a doctor. And
No?
I'm not going to step on it.
You're a doctor of mold.
I'm a doctor of mold.
You're the mold specialist. Well, I just want to tell everybody, if you want to watch today's show, go to wwnnradio.com. On the left-hand side, you'll see WWNN TV. Click on there, and voila, there we are.
And there's so much information, too,
Yes.
to learn. And you've got a lot of great information on your website.
Yeah, I've been at it for quite a while. My family's been in the environmental industry for about 30 years. My brother owns a big environmental company up in Detroit. He goes into Chrysler, Ford, and GM, cleans the paint booths, the smokestacks.
Oh, wow.
And I worked for him for about 10 years, and we developed a safety school. And I used to go into Chrysler, Ford, and GM and teach all these old-timers OSHA safety. And then we developed a mold class, and I used to travel around the world.
Is there mold in
around the country.
Detroit?
Oh, there's mold everywhere.
I'm
It's
joking,
everywhere.
of course.
Yeah, basements up north.
Yes, that's
basements
true.
up north got mold.
Yes,
Have
very
mold.
much so.
Down here, it's Florida, and the
Prevalent.
biggest humidity and mold state in the country.
Oh, that's scary.
No, but it's true.
It's,
Especially with all the moisture
Yeah.
and hurricane season.
One of the questions we get a lot is why has mold industry grown so much in the last 10 to 12 years? Homes are built tighter. The average American spends 90% of their lives indoors, whether it be at work, in the gym, in a restaurant.
Because it's too hot outside.
Well, it's not only that, but they got the internet. When we were kids.
Oh, he's saying
That's
we're
right.
lazy. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's true. When we were kids, we were
we used to play outside.
till the dark.
Yes.
So it's
And now all the kids are inside on the computer.
I'm outside playing. I love the slide. Tell them about your website, because you got such great information on
it's
your website.
www.usmold.com.
Oh, that's easy.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
pretty
is
easy.
So
Yeah.
give us a little background on U.S. Mold. Tell us about your company and how you got started.
We got started in 2005, and before that, I was traveling around the country teaching handymen, construction workers, general contractors how to inspect and remediate mold. And from that, I came down here. I taught a class in 2004, and a girl called me. She came to the class and she hired me. She says, "Come take care of my mold division."
I'm glad that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Well,
I was getting nervous there.
It's a family show, Mike.
Yes. So anyway, I came down here in 2004 of August, started working for her, and then Jeannie, Francis, all the hurricanes hit. So I went out. U.S. Mold used to be called U.S. Mold Academy, and I used to go around and teach, and then I dropped the academy and opened up U.S. Mold, and we haven't looked back.
Because he doesn't have
Wow.
time to teach anymore.
Yeah.
You are a busy man.
Yeah, thank God we are. We've been busy.
What that means is he's good at what he does. That's what we look for. If they're busy, that means people are hiring them. They tell their friends about them.
Okay, so what does mold need in order to grow?
Moisture.
Right. So that's why this state is perfect for you.
Yeah, moisture, nutrients. Mold can grow on basically anything. Glass, obviously drywall, carpet. Like we do water damage too, emergency water damage. And the secret with that is get there right away.
Right.
Dry it out as fast as you can. Use a mildicide, put the equipment in, and get it dry.
So right now is your season.
This is our season. We're very busy. Doing water damage, doing mold removal. We do odor removal. Homes that have been shut down because of the bankruptcies and the foreclosures.
Yes.
Oh,
They're just the banks
Covered.
close the ACs up, and
Right.
you walk in, and boom, you get hit with this smell, and then you have to have it tested by a state licensed assessor, and then it's usually elevated. And what we do, we go in, clean the ductworks, clean the ACs, fog it with a state-of-the-art chemical, and get rid of it, and HEPA-vac everything. It's a whole procedure, but we're good at what we do. We've been doing it quite a while.
Right. So how many different types of molds are there?
There's 100,000 different types of mold, and the one that comes to the light that's the most toxic is it's called Stachybotrys. Say that 10 times real fast.
What is it? No, I don't even know what that is. Stacking botches?
sounds like my old girlfriend.
Yeah.
She was stacked?
Built like a box.
That's the black mold. That's the medical field says that is a carcinogen.
Oh, I've
So
seen
that's
that
a
before.
serious
Really?
that's a serious mold. And Stachybotrys needs the dark continuous moisture, a dark area, and a nutrient, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And that's the one you got to be careful of. Whenever we see a lab result that shows Stachybotrys, that's a red flag.
So what happens? You have to move out of the house for you to clean it up?
Yep. Yeah. Well, no, 90% of the time when we're doing our work, we have the occupants leave.
See, I'm not used to mold because in New York, I don't think we had mold.
Basements.
We had rats. We didn't have mold. Really, no joke. I don't know. Since I moved here, that's all. I mean, I've seen it on the walls. I've actually seen like black. It looks like soot almost.
It comes in a circular form,
Yes.
and it can be all different colors. It's just depending on how much moisture's there, how long it's been growing. You know how long it takes for mold to grow? You're supposed to be asking me the expert. What am I asking you for?
I don't have the answer. I'm waiting for you to answer.
I got all these questions.
Listen,
here.
wait a
I'm asking
second.
myself.
Wait a second. I'm
What's going
leaving.
on
He can ask and answer his own questions.
Just give me 2 mics. I'll ask here and I answer here.
You can have my mic, Mike. Do you like that? You're funny.
Can you eyeball mold when you go into someone's house?
Yeah, you can
Whether
see
it's
it
on the glass
Yeah.
or no matter where it's at, you can see it.
Yeah, you know what I normally do is look up and you check the AC vents around the diffusers.
Right.
If there's dust buildup and dark colors, then usually that is a good indication that their coils are dirty. They haven't been cleaned in a while. They don't change their filters often enough.
So that creates mold as well.
You got to change your filters. You got to keep a good relative humidity, and as a homeowner, you should check all your water sources to control it. I'm talking about the biggest culprit is behind your refrigerator, the ice maker.
Really?
A lot of times the ice maker will leak, a real slow leak, and you don't even know it's happening.
Yeah, because it's behind the refrigerator.
Right.
You can't see it. So people should start pulling the refrigerators out.
I recommend doing it on at least once every 2 weeks and checking. Because the
Wow.
problem is if it is a slow leak and it's been going on for quite a while, what happens is the insurance company won't cover a slow leak. Now, how the heck is a homeowner supposed to know they have a slow leak if it's inside the wall or if it is in the ice maker line?
Right.
And next thing you know, all the cabinets got to come out. You got to rip all the drywall
wow.
out, and then the homeowner might have to eat that whole cost, and that can be that can be costly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but you check all your water sources. Washer, dryer, underneath vanities, underneath your garbage disposal, your kitchen sink. That's the kind of stuff you want to do on a regular basis.
Who
to
would know
prevent.
this, though? Seriously. I mean, how would people know
That's why
this?
we have a show like this
Understood.
to educate everybody.
But that's pretty sad. I mean, it's like, if you're not checking, no wonder there's so much mold down here. Who would know? I mean, when was the last time we pulled our refrigerator out?
Never.
Okay.
You're going to be doing that tonight.
Absolutely. And what signs do you look for? Like when you come in, someone calls you up and they say, I think we've got mold. What signs, when you walk through the whole house, so you don't just walk through behind the refrigerator. You're looking at a lot of different things when you walk in.
But typically, is it black? I mean, when you see mold.
Mold can be, like I said, there's 100,000 different types of mold, and it can be green, orange, purple, black, white, fuzzy.
Yes, I've seen that as well.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different. It's just a matter of if it's toxic,
Right.
what the health effects are from it, and who was living in that environment. Like you could be in one room, you could be in another room. Can I see him? No.
No.
Everybody reacts different to mold. It's just a matter of you have immune compromised health, if you're affected by it or not. Like I said, not all mold is toxic, but obviously nobody wants to be sitting in the house
You don't want to live
and be
with mold.
breathing.
No.
So we got to take care of it, get it right away, and what you look for is, as a homeowner, the other thing you can do is just use your senses, your nose, your eyes. Mold can make you lethargic.
So if you see
tired.
me going,
You do that all the time.
oh. Hey, listen, give everybody your phone number. We're going to go to break.
Okay.
Give everybody your phone number. And I have a question for you that's probably going to sound really weird. But
After break.
After break, give them your phone number.
This is Mike Fidel from U.S. Mold, 561-748-2223.
We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
U.S. Mold are the area's mold and water damage experts, dedicated to removing and preventing further dangers of mold. It's important to keep your family and pets safe from the effects of mold building up in your home, and mold in your workplace is another point of concern. Damp areas, water leaks, excessive coughing, mildew, and musty odors are all signs of possible mold infestation. Don't delay. Call the professionals at U.S. Mold and rest easy knowing that your indoor air will be fit to breathe again. U.S. Mold offers the most comprehensive mold inspection, mold testing, mold removal, odor removal, and flood damage restoration services in South Florida, serving the Palm Beaches, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Jupiter, Stewart, and surrounding areas. U.S. Mold has the knowledge and experience to effectively restore the indoor air quality of any size building, and they do so in an efficient, professional, and friendly way. Call U.S. Mold today at 561-748-2223 or visit them online at usmold.com.
Hi, I'm Steve-O with the Ask the Experts radio show. Join my co-host Renee and I every Friday as we interview some of the most prominent professionals in Palm Beach and Broward County. Each week we combine educational information on a variety of topics with a touch of humor and entertainment in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement so you can be more informed. We offer interviews on such topics as family law, foreclosure defense, estate planning, sleep apnea, roof repair, funeral pre-needs, mold and mildew, alcoholism addiction, and even a show that teaches you how to buy a new and used car from one of the top dealerships in South Florida. If you have a business and would like to be part of the Ask the Expert show, contact us at 954-336-3767. Position your company as an expert in your field. Call Ask the Experts radio show at 954-336-3767. Be sure to catch our show every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. or watch our show live at wwnnradio.com and click on the WWNN TV link. And we're back with the owner of U.S. Mold, Mike Fidel. You have like a little cute little saying you told me about one day. You got to tell everybody what this is.
We have a hook that people recognize us by, and it's called "There's Fungus Among Us."
I love it. I think that's great.
So I go to the doctor's office, and they say, "What do you do?" I says, "Well, I do mold." So what is your hook? So what, and I give them a card, and on our card and everything.
I can't believe
Nothing like live radio.
Yeah, this is live radio, and that was who was that? Eminem. Anyway, there's fungus among us. So when you hear there's fungus among us, you'll think of U.S. Mold.
Well, tell me
I
something.
like that.
I do know some types of molds, and they're all Latin. Is there anything to that at all?
Yeah, there is. The reason why is that's one language that's not used today. And
Because nobody understands it.
nobody understands it, and that's one of the reasons why they use Aspergillus penicillium, Stachybotrys, Cotonium.
Let me tell you something. It still sounds bad, though.
Yeah,
I would move out.
Ascospores. You could go on forever.
Yes.
Now, you don't just do houses either.
No, we don't. We have a marine division. We've done yachts in the Bahamas. We've done commercial buildings from Nassau in the Bahamas, Paradise Island, all the way up to New Orleans after Katrina. Michigan. We've been, I feel like Johnny Cash. We've been everywhere, man.
So if you have mold on your boat or your yacht,
Well,
then you go and inspect that and take care of that as well.
yeah, we have to, when you have high humidity and you got moisture and you got an outdoor environment.
Well, if you're on a boat, I would think you have moisture, right?
Yeah, we've done yachts. We did a yacht here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not in Fort Lauderdale, in Boca. We did a yacht in Fort Lauderdale. It was like 170 foot.
Was that ours?
Yeah, we have a kayak or canoe.
We did your dinghy.
That's about it.
You got to stop talking about my dinghy.
Talk about family show.
Yeah, right.
Settle down over there, cowboy.
Tell me, do you work in Broward and Palm Beach and Martin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you cover all counties.
Yep.
And you have two different offices?
No, our office is located in Jupiter.
Okay,
But
so
we
give
go
everybody your address.
612. Well, they're not going to come there. What am I going to get my address
They're
for?
going to come there and see if you have mold.
They want to inspect your office.
I'm kidding you. Renee. We were at 612 North Orange Avenue, Suite A4, Jupiter, Florida.
Okay.
Now, there's one. Gosh, can you die from mold?
Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't go outside my
you don't
medical
have, but
field.
You've been around this.
And I can't comment on a medical issue because I'm not a medical expert. So, but what we do tell people is when you have your house inspected for mold, you take your results to the doctor, and then he'll tell you if it's affecting your health.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So that way you don't ask an inspector or a mold remediator if it's affecting their health. pretty much they can tell you themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
But take the lab results to the doctor.
But this is really serious, though. That's the point I'm really trying to make.
Well, what's happened is since 2010, we had to be licensed. Florida government stepped in and says if you want to do mold removal and mold inspections, you got to have a state license. And you
That's
can't do the
smart.
same.
That was my next question about inspection. You have to have a license.
You
for
have
this.
to be state licensed, just like a
think
general
you should,
contractor.
yeah.
It's a great law. At first, it hurt a lot because we did a lot of our business by inspecting and doing remediation. But now we can't inspect and do remediation on the same job. We have to outsource it to another inspection company. They'll inspect it, write a protocol, give it to us, and then we'll give them a cost for the remediation.
Right.
That's what we're good at. We're great at getting rid of it. I have a state-of-the-art chemical. We have the best equipment, all high-end, state-of-the-art dehumidifiers, HEPA air scrubbers, and my knowledge. I've been doing this for 20 years. We're pretty good at what we do.
No kidding.
Not
Be
to
around
blow
that
my
long.
own horn, but I got 30 minutes to tell you.
Now that's funny.
So, let's say someone feels like they might have mold. They call you.
They need to call Mike Fidella, U.S. Mold. That's what
Okay.
they need to do.
561-748-2223.
You
Perfect.
come out to their house. How long? When you come out there, how long does your inspection take?
If I'm doing the inspection, it's usually an hour to 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, but normally what we do now is we give it. If somebody wants an inspection done, we give them a couple referrals of state licensed mold assessment companies and let them do it, and then they'll call us back to give them the bid for the remediation, the cleanup. That's what we're good at, and that's our specialty. So if I do an inspection, I'm state licensed. We're state licensed to do mold inspections and mold remediation. But the remediation is where we shine.
So let me ask you
Anybody can
something.
inspect it. It's
Can
just,
the mold get into like the sheetrock? I mean, do you ever have to remove walls? Because I've seen that before.
the rule of thumb was, let's say you have a flood,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you didn't notice it for 2 or 3 days, because mold needs, 24 to 48 hours to grow? All right? If it's been wet for longer than 24, 48 hours and you haven't attended to it right away, then you got a problem. So a rule of thumb with mold is you take 2 feet beyond the infested areas and just cut it out. There's some people that'll say,
like a
just
cancer.
wipe.
No, it's like,
Yeah.
this could be really costly, though.
Well, I mean, drywall's not that expensive.
Yeah, no, by the time you do everything.
Yeah, but you're better off to rip it out than to leave it and wipe it
Yeah.
and try and dry it out that way. Because a lot of times, if it's way too wet, that's good English. If it's too wet,
It's a Jupiter talk.
if it's been wet too long, then drywall is porous,
Right.
and
So
what's
it gets
ever on the
exposed.
outside is 90% of the time it's on the inside of the gypsum. And the gypsum board will bleed through and bleed through. Oh, I'm wiping. I get calls all the time. People say, I've been wiping it off in my shower. I've been wiping it off on the drywall, but it keeps coming back. So that's because it's inside the wall.
Right.
It's inside the gypsum.
So
But
let's
it's
talk.
not. I want to say one thing too.
Okay.
Not every job is a red flag. I'm not a red flag person, and I'm not here to scare everybody, because we've been living with mold for our whole lives. Remember, you used to walk in your grandma's house, you smell that odor. But as soon as you did,
No, I
went
used
in,
to
you-
smell mothballs.
Yeah, well, that
was big
whiskey.
back in New York.
My
Not
aunts and
whiskey,
uncles.
mothballs. That smell, you can't get rid of that smell. But let me talk about the snowbirds, because I know a lot of snowbirds go back and forth, up north, and they put the hurricane shutters on here, and they raise the air. So does that create mold?
What has happened over the years, especially the last couple of years, is the relative humidity in Florida and the rain has pretty much kind of elevated the last couple of years. And these the homeowners, the snowbirds, shut the place up with
Right.
the hurricane shutters, and they make a perfect environment for mold. But there's one thing I want to bring up is Honeywell makes a central dehumidification system. You put it in line with your air conditioner. You can turn your AC up to 80.
Right.
You can shut the hurricane shutters up. The central dehumidification system will kick in and keep your house dry and give you an economical savings beyond any expectations. Forget the dehumidistats, get a central dehumidification system.
And you can set that
and
up
save
with a
money.
timer as well.
It
Or is
could,
that-
no, it comes
how does
on
that work?
automatically. If the relative humidity gets over 40% or 50%, it kicks in and it starts drying the structure out, keeping it dry.
And it's made
That's
by
the point.
Honeywell, so you know it's going to be
Yeah,
good.
and that's state of the art. They're a little costly, but they're worth it if you're trying. You'll save enough money in the long run.
Okay, so how long does it take, say, with a typical mold, how long does it take once you come in to
Remediate everything.
Get rid of the mold?
Well, also, I'm sure it depends on what type of mold and how bad it is.
No,
No?
our standard job, no matter what size, we're done in 3 days.
Wow.
That's quick.
We're good at what we do. We have a state-of-the-art chemical. Let me tell you something real quick about our chemical. When you disturb mold, it gets airborne. What we do is the first thing we do, we go in and we put a big fog application throughout the entire house and the ductwork. Once we disturb the mold, it gets airborne, our chemical attacks it, knocks it right to the ground and kills it.
Wow.
And then we proceed to start to remove the drywall.
Because I've seen people go in with hazmat suits.
Oh yeah, you
no,
gotta
I'm just
wear.
saying, so this way you don't breathe that in.
Well, listen, I thought you'd have to be out of your house for 2 or 3 weeks. So you're saying 3 days?
Well,
That's only, wait a second, that's only if you use U.S. molds.
Thank you very much, Renee. I'll take a high five there, sister. Now you're talking. I've seen other jobs, and all I talk about is U.S. mold, and that's how good we are. And we're done in 3 days. We have to recommend a clearance company to come in, or the homeowner get a clearance company to make sure that the work that we did is. We got rid of all the mold.
Clearance being an inspection company.
Right. And then they give the homeowner a letter of clearance saying the home is mold-free, you're ready for reconstruction, and you can move back into your house.
Perfect.
Wow. This has been, it always goes by fast, doesn't it? Always goes by fast.
Well, give your phone number again.
It's 561-748-2223.
And your website.
There's fungus among us.
Fungus among us. I love it.
www.usmold.com.
No, if you use Mike, you won't have it. See?
Listen, when I met Mike, you were working on a huge job. Remember it was like a doctor's office or something?
Yes, yeah.
And it was right on, I think it backed up on a lake or a pond or something. So, listen, this is such an important, especially like you said, down here in South Florida, huge area. People are just not educated on it. And a show like this, we are going to let you know what you need to do as a consumer. And you know what? If someone comes and knocks on your door and tells you, let me go check for mold, tell me you already know someone. You've got U.S. mold now.
Well, they also have to be licensed as well, so you just don't want to let anybody in your house to check for mold.
The only one I'm going to let in is Mike now.
That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying.
So, and you do Broward, Palm Beach, and Martin County.
He covers it all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been to the Bahamas, to New Orleans, to Michigan. We go everywhere.
That is really, really cool. So it's been really great today. We've got another show coming up in the next 30 minutes. Mike is going to be back with us again
next month.
Next month. And so start
and we're
getting
going to talk about water damage restoration.
Yeah, I want to get more into that because, man, you hear all these advertisements all the time about these companies.
It's hurricane season, so this is important to find out about.
There's a tropical wave out there right now that they don't know where it's going to go.
Okay, I'm waving goodbye.
So anyway, stay tuned on our second half of our show. We have got, speaking of mold mildew, we have a law firm that specializes in homeowners association, one of the top law firms. So if you're part of an association or you're like the president of the association, we have the top law firm in Florida on with us on the second half. Mike, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, Mike, for coming on.
I can't wait for him to come back again, man. He's got a good sense of humor. He's good at what he does.
He knows his mold.
U.S. mold.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
We'll see you on the other side.
U.S. Mold are the area's mold and water damage experts, dedicated to removing and preventing further dangers of mold. It's important to keep your family and pets safe from the effects of mold building up in your home, and mold in your workplace is another point of concern. Damp areas, water leaks, excessive coughing, mildew, and musty odors are all signs of possible mold infestation. Don't delay. Call the professionals at U.S. Mold and rest easy knowing that your indoor air will be fit to breathe again. U.S. Mold offers the most comprehensive mold inspection, mold testing, mold removal, odor removal, and flood damage restoration services in South Florida, serving the Palm Beaches, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Jupiter, Stewart, and surrounding areas. U.S. Mold has the knowledge and experience to effectively restore the indoor air quality of any size building, and they do so in an efficient, professional, and friendly way. Call U.S. Mold today at 561-748-2223 or visit them online at usmold.com.
Hi, I'm Steve-O with the Ask the Experts radio show. Join my co-host Renee and I every Friday as we interview some of the most prominent professionals in Palm Beach and Broward County. Each week we combine educational information on a variety of topics with a touch of humor and entertainment in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement so you can be more informed. We offer interviews on such topics as family law, foreclosure defense, estate planning, sleep apnea, roof repair, funeral pre-needs, mold and mildew, alcoholism addiction, and even a show that teaches you how to buy a new and used car from one of the top dealerships in South Florida. If you have a business and would like to be part of the Ask the Expert show, contact us at 954-336-3767. Position your company as an expert in your field. Call Ask the Experts radio show at 954-336-3767. Be sure to catch our show every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. or watch our show live at wwnnradio.com and click on the WWNN TV link.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we're back. You know what? I love it when Ken is in the board op room.
Ken's in the house.
He's
on it.
And we've had so many board ops. He is without a doubt the best. We are back. Listen, I got to butter up our next guest.
You got to butter him up.
Yeah, because when Renee and I developed the show, Ask the Experts, one of the areas, we have a lot of different lawyers that come on, but one of the areas, especially down here in South Florida, is I wanted to make sure that we had a homeowners association firm, but not just a firm. We wanted to make sure that we had the best, because that's what you deserve. And we found what I feel is the top homeowners association, condo association, law firm, not just here in South Florida, but throughout Florida. So I want to welcome to the show, I would call you the senior partner. You can say anything, but we have Robert K. of K. Bender Rembaum with us today.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're going to talk about homeowners association. And I've done a lot of reading about homeowners association condo. Wow, there's a lot that this involves.
It's very complex, yes.
So tell us about your firm.
Well, the law firm's been in existence since late 1991, continuously providing these types of legal services throughout South Florida initially. We've expanded into the Palm Beach Gardens area, and we have clientele probably through half of Florida anyway.
You have a lot of
this is a type of situation where it's virtually everywhere. It's hard to find a place in Florida that doesn't have a mandatory association to live in. So
yes, even when let me tell you, even when I owned a house,
yes,
there was a homeowners association. Although we took care of our own, we maintained our own, the grass and everything else around the house. You had to live up to the HOA.
Sure.
And if you didn't, they
You
could
get a letter
assess
from me.
you. Yeah, you get a letter. Believe me, I have.
I hope not.
I had weeds. No, I did. I had
But a
weeds. and they would-
homeowners
yeah.
associations is almost like a
Mini
small,
government, yeah.
like a small to mid-sized business.
Exactly right. Up north, cities do a lot more. Down here, associations do a lot of the things that municipalities do.
They have elected officials.
Absolutely. They tax.
Do they really?
Well, your assessments are what
Oh, right, so that's
operates.
considered a tax, right.
That's like a tax. And,
Yes,
and in
absolutely.
fact, it's as important as your mortgage because you can lose your property if you don't pay these assessments.
Yeah,
can.
and then you have to get into disputes, which is what you get into also.
Absolutely. Whenever you put groups of people together, you find that there's going to invariably be disputes. Sometimes people can't follow the rules, that the disputes are with the association, sometimes it's with each other, sometimes it's both.
And sometimes it's with the contractors. Sometimes it's with the management companies also. It's not just the...
And local governments.
All of these things come into play. On top of all of that, Florida statutes through the years have been evolving. Started in more than the condominiums. The homeowners association and cooperatives are catching up on their legislation and how they affect the regulations and the operations, and it's gotten very complex and very technical. So most of the people running them are volunteers, they're homeowners, they're unit owners, and they don't have the expertise necessarily that required.
That's why they need your law firm.
That's why they need our law firm, yes.
And this is why the seminars you do too, which we're going to get into, because it's like you said, some of these people know nothing about being a president or a vice president of a homeowners.
And listen, it's a very scary thought because if you could lose your house. I mean, he just said that, but that's very true because I know of situations that people had to go up against the homeowners association because of that.
Well, that does happen.
Yes, quite often.
Quite often. In recent years, it was a lot worse, where our economy is getting a little bit better, so
Right.
there's a lot less of that going on today, but it is an issue that always has to be in the minds of the boards of these associations. The money they get on these assessments, that's how they operate. That's how they
Right.
take care of the place, and if they don't have everybody pay, then the place will fall apart.
So your firm offers so many different services. Let's share the different services, because I know we've got listeners out there right now that are like tuned to the show now. It's like, maybe we should change our way of doing business. So let's share all the different services.
Well, sure. First and foremost, we are the general counsel to the association, where we provide legal advice and opinions relative to the day-to-day operation of the association. We review their governing documents, which are basically their constitutions that say what the restrictions are, how the associations operate, and we provide information to the boards as to that. We also assist them in contract negotiations, and there are construction lien laws that are in effect that protect contractors over homeowners, so associations need to be sure that they comply particularly with those laws, and they are very technical. So we do those services as well. Obviously, covenant enforcement. When people don't follow the rules, we provide a litigation aspect to the associations when they get in disputes with contractors. They hire contractors. Contractors don't do their jobs. The association needs to be involved in, the association attorney needs to be involved in enforcing their contractual rights.
Right, because like you said, most of the people on the board are homeowners themselves.
Absolutely. Construction defect has become another complex area. There are statutes in place with procedures that have to be followed that have recently come into effect in Florida, so those are very technical. You have to be sure to follow that, or else you'll lose your access to taking them to court.
You know, it's really, since we deal with so many different types of law firms, folks, let me tell you something. If you're using a firm and they do bankruptcy, foreclosure, criminal,
You want one
you are
firm that
one.
specializes in the
This is
HOA.
all that you do.
This is probably 90+% of what our firm does is represent community associations.
And I would think that's big business here in South Florida,
There are community associations everywhere you look, so
especially here.
there's a lot of clients, yes.
Well, speaking of client, what kind of clients does your firm serve?
Well, we serve all of the various community associations. We represent condominium associations, homeowner associations, cooperatives, across the board on all their issues. There are times when we'll represent unit owners as well, and some vendors that are involved in association matters, sometimes general commercial matters.
So you cover all the counties?
We cover all the counties, yes.
Yes, because with our show, we go all over Broward, Palm Beach,
Yes.
Martin. So you also do Martin County also?
Yes, and we're
That's
down in
wonderful.
Monroe as well.
Give everyone your website.
Website is www.kbrlegal.com. The initials kbrlegal.com.
You also offer seminars.
We do. We
So
have
tell everybody about those.
many seminars, actually. First off, Florida statutes have required condominium board members to be certified by virtue of either signing a form that says they've read the documents and will follow them to the best of their ability, or take an education course that's been approved by the Division of Condominium. So we provide these division-approved courses. It's a good idea for board members to take the course because of the education they receive, as opposed to just signing a paper and indicating that they're in compliance. That has been extended to homeowners associations as well. So we offer board certification courses for both homeowner association, condominium association, as well as cooperatives. We do that on a monthly basis.
And where do you hold the seminars?
We hold them in our offices, both in Pompano Beach and in Palm Beach Gardens. The dates are listed on our website. We have one coming up next Tuesday in Pompano Beach. I believe that's for condominium certification. I don't know all the dates off the top of my
How could
head.
you not get
Wait a second.
certified, though?
I know. And is there a fee for that?
There's no fee for that, no. It just advance RSVP and registration with us, so our space is limited. We need to make sure that we can accommodate.
No, that's a great thing. So they could get certified and not even have to pay to be certified. So why wouldn't you want to do that?
Why would you not want, even
Exactly.
if it was charged for it?
Well, since we've been doing that, we've had a very good attendance. The summertime's a little slower because a lot of people are
Snowbirds,
away.
yeah.
Sure, snowbirds. But we've also added some courses that include some credits for property managers that involve navigating fair housing issues, which has become a very hot topic of late with the emotional support animal issue that has been exploding. People in many communities have pet restrictions, and the way that they're getting around pet restrictions is with emotional support animals. It's been epidemic how many people seem to have emotional needs. And
All of a sudden, right?
Yes.
Well, listen, let's go to break, and when we return, I want to really get in more about the seminars, too, because I think you're crazy not to go to these
It's
seminars.
free.
But, you know,
I mean, even if you had to pay for it, something you want to be knowledgeable.
Plus-
I'm just saying the fact that they're offering that, that's wonderful.
and I'm sure the laws are constantly changing, too.
Every year.
So you've really got to be able to keep up with. So let's go to break, and when we return, more homeowner association law. We'll be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
Hi, I'm Steve-O with the Ask the Experts radio show. Join my co-host Renee and I every Friday as we interview some of the most prominent professionals in Palm Beach and Broward County. Each week we combine educational information on a variety of topics with a touch of humor and entertainment in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement so you can be more informed. We offer interviews on such topics as family law, foreclosure defense, estate planning, sleep apnea, roof repair, funeral pre-needs, mold and mildew, alcoholism addiction, and even a show that teaches you how to buy a new and used car from one of the top dealerships in South Florida. If you have a business and would like to be part of the Ask the Expert show, contact us at 954-336-3767. Position your company as an expert in your field. Call Ask the Experts radio show at 954 888-336-3767. Be sure to catch our show every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. or watch our show live at wwnnradio.com and click on the WWNN TV link. And we're back. I'm so glad.
I just got some information here.
You did?
Yes, I did. He happened to have been the attorney for the association where my house, before I sold my house.
Right.
He was one of the attorneys there. And I wasn't joking around before. I had pavers in my driveway, and if a drop of weeds would come through, I would get served paperwork and paperwork and paperwork. I mean, I was out there literally spraying weeds all the time. Weeds? Once a week, I was outside spraying to kill. Well, you have to kill the weeds.
You probably needed a stronger weed killer.
Listen, believe me, I went to Home Depot. I got the best.
Well, listen, our show is about education, and we have the best. I think it's the biggest law firm in Florida when it comes to homeowners association, condo association. You are going to learn so much because we're going to do this every month with Robert. And I want to, we were just talking about this seminar that you do.
So what topics do you discuss in the seminar?
Well, depending on the seminar, we do different types. If we're doing the board certification course, it goes through what the statutes require, what the documents require. It's a general overview, and the division has specific hot points that we have to cover. It's 2 hours, and it's very intense, and it goes through a lot of information. We've had many people attend more than one time because of the amount of information they get. They can't retain it all, so they need to come back for a second go-round. On the fair housing issues, fair housing is important. It's been expanded through the years to provide for protections to a number of different people, not just the old standards of race, religion, but also physically handicapped, mentally handicapped, families with children, things of that nature have accommodation requirements under fair housing laws. One of our seminars gets into detail on how boards can negotiate these complex issues. Through the winter months, we do a road show of sorts where
you were just mentioning that before.
Where we do a number of stops. We go through what's new legislation that is done in the current year, and we also have it more of a town hall format where we open it up to the participants who come to provide their questions, and we answer whatever.
So they go to town hall. So it's like open forum.
Open forum, any topic they want to ask. We ask that if you're talking about one of our clients, you let us know so that we're not giving answers against them.
Like if I went there, I complained about somebody.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell everybody out there why they should hire your firm when it comes to homeowners association.
I'm humble in many ways.
That's okay, but this is important.
Because he's one of the partners.
Our firm has devoted the attention for 25 years to this area of the law, and it is one that we're passionate about. It's one that we're well versed upon, and we make certain that our clients are in compliance at all times, and we keep them out of trouble. That's number one. Many of our clients that come to us new are already in trouble, so we help to get them out of the trouble. The fact that we provide many free services through our website, we provide educational information.
I saw that on there.
When there's new changes in the law, we notify our clients. There's no charge for that.
And that happens on a regular basis.
Yes. We also pride ourselves on our policy that when we provide information to our clients, we do so in a way that's understandable to the layperson. When you ask for a legal opinion, you don't get something that's 20 pages long that you need somebody to translate for you. You get something that's concise, to the point, and understandable, and written in a way that is generally understood. That's important when you're considering hiring an attorney.
Are there any new laws out there that you believe are going to become a negative impact?
Well, there's always changes that have negative aspects to different groups. One of the changes this year that stands out is in the condominium laws. There's been exceptions made to many of the laws as they apply to non-residential commercial type condominiums. For those, some of the restrictions and protections that exist for residential condominiums have been specifically removed, such as certain qualifications to serve on the board. under condominium laws, if a board member is a convicted felon who's
That would be an issue, you think?
who hasn't had their civil rights restored in the 5 years previous is not qualified to serve on the board.
Right.
That's been removed. So someone with a
Oh, it has been.
for non-residential condominiums.
Okay.
And for residential, yeah, that remains the same. Things of that nature. Other protections within that portion were removed, and it was done new. Not sure why. There wasn't a lot of talk about it. It just kind of slipped through. So that could have some negative impact to non-residential condominium unit owners.
Do you ever try to work with the legislator at all?
We do. We actually work with the legislation process regularly. Michael Bender sits on a number of legislative action committees. He participates in drafting and lobbying on a lot of the legislation through those.
Any
community
issues you feel like they've
associations.
overlooked this year?
There's always issues that get overlooked. One,
Such as?
Well, one that stands out to us, there's been an issue where associations, particularly with the way the economic climate has been in recent years, many associations have been required to foreclose on units within their community because lenders have not. There's been long-standing lender foreclosures that have been taking years and years to complete, if ever.
So you could do that? Or
Associations, and traditionally when a lender's foreclosing, the association does not, because the lender's superior, they wipe out the association except for a statutory safe harbor amount, and that's all they're going to get. But because the lenders were not moving their foreclosures, nobody was paying, the associations decided they had no choice. They have no way to collect from the people, so the only remedy available to them under the law and their documents is to lien and foreclose. Once they took title,
So you actually get title of
they
the
get
house.
title, but
Wow.
subject to the first mortgage. Once they took title, they could rent the property for a while. Selling it was problematic because there's big mortgages on it. They can't,
Right.
lenders won't talk to them if there's a short sale because they're not the one that has the mortgage. So that became a problem. But ultimately, a lender will foreclose. And in the event a third party purchased at the lender's sale, not the lender, but a third party, an independent investor who's out there just to make money, it developed that when the association was in the chain of title, they became what was called a prior owner, and subject to the fact that any assessments that came due from them were wiped out as well. So they
Wow.
exercise their only option to foreclose, and then they get punished for it. Now, the legislature has adopted part of the protection on that by identifying the association as no longer a prior owner under the statute. They did it in HOAs last year. This year they did it for condominiums, but they didn't go far enough to provide for the protection to make sure that the third-party purchasers at the sale are paying everything that the association has invested. The association had to pay legal fees. They have unpaid assessments,
That was
late
one of
fees,
my,
interest.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. So what happens if a property does foreclose and there are homeowners association fees that have not been paid? So when the bank takes over, what happens to those association
if
fees?
a bank takes over, the bank is generally required to pay the lesser of 12 months of unpaid assessments or 1% of the original mortgage, whichever's less. Generally, it's 1%. Lenders have had a very strong lobby in Tallahassee through the years, and that's been an issue that has been difficult to change. Whether it'll change in the future remains to be seen.
So the homeowners association actually loses out on a lot of money.
They
basically.
can under
Yeah.
those circumstances. When they can hold the property for a certain period of time and it's habitable without a big investment on their part, they can rent it. They can recoup some of their money through the rentals, but that a lot of depends on, in that type of situation.
Because I know foreclosures are so prevalent in the state of Florida.
They're less so now,
Right, it's
because
getting
things
better.
have been clearing out. A lot of the old lender foreclosures are clearing out. Certainly the associations are having people that are paying better. So the housing values are going up, which is always helpful in that
Yes.
regard.
Does it seem the legislator treats the HOA, the Homeowners Association, different? I read an article about
Different
this.
than
The statutes. It said that, I read an article that said that they just don't treat them as fair as everything else they do. That it seems that they should be regulated by the same statutes as they use for everything else.
Well, it's a political process, and political processes are always very difficult and complex because there's so many different interests that are competing at the same time, and So we don't always get the results that are best for everybody. Associations are highly regulated. Condominiums for longer have been more regulated. HOA statute came into effect in 1995 and has been tweaked on an almost annual basis to get closer to what the Condominium Act is, but still there is quite a large difference between them. But the interests in HOAs and condominium are also different. In a condominium, you've got the common elements, the building maintenance, and all of that, and owners are more involved in the units. In the HOAs, the owners own their property, they own their
the
houses.
outside, what's going on? Do
Right.
you have weeds in your
Right.
pavers?
And quite often, depending on if it's a limited access community, security, and those types of things, the interests are different, so the statutes have evolved differently. But that makes it confusing for everybody who's involved with it.
I even saw where it said about emails were not considered part of the official record.
Which is unusual, because usually
emails-
emails are official documents.
Well, emails can be part, but they might not be. If an email comes from a board member's personal email account, as opposed to one that's designated as an official account of the association, then it's been considered outside the scope of what's the
Wow.
official records, even though it may involve something that's association related.
Give everybody your phone number again. Now, you have two offices, so
We have
so
two
you have to give
offices.
let's give one for both offices.
well, you-
Well,
addresses as well.
if you call the main number, you can reach either office.
Okay.
The main number is 954-928-0680, and you can access either the Palm Beach Gardens office or the Pompano Beach office.
Why don't you give your addresses as well?
My address is 1200 Park Central Boulevard South in Pompano Beach.
That's actually the one I went to. Oh, those are beautiful offices.
thank you.
Those are real. I thought it was a like several different offices there. It's all his office. There must have been 30 cars
Well,
out there.
that's why he's on the show, because he's the expert.
Exactly.
So if you need an HOA attorney, this is the law firm to go to.
Well,
And
I'm just
if I
glad you
can,
guys-
the Palm Beach Gardens office is 9121 North Military Trail in Suite 200 in Palm Beach Gardens.
Perfect.
Thanks for coming on today. I
Thanks
can't
so
wait
much for
till he
coming on.
comes back on again next month.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
This is really wonderful.
Hope to hear from some of you outside.
Absolutely. Listen, without you, there is no us. Peace and love, everybody.
We're out.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show with Steve-O and Renee. Tune in every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program